I'm here.
The people call Mark Pilbeam.
I do.
Please be seated. Give me your proper first name and last name, spelling both.
Okay, Mark, M-A-R-K. Last name is Pilbeam, P-I-L-B-E-A-M.
You may be seated.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, sir. Where were you living at in 2010?
Fayette, Ohio.
Where is that in relation to Morenci, Michigan?
Just south of Morenci.
Approximately how far?
A mile.
1 mile? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. They're recording, so you have to say yes or no. You can't shake your head. You can't say mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you. During the 2000 time period, did you know John Skelton?
Yes.
Did you know Tanya Skelton at that time?
Yes.
How did you know them?
My ex-wife went to school with Tanya and grew up with her. And then when John and her got together, we knew them from church, and once in a while get together.
And what's your ex-wife's name?
Michelle.
Did you come to know Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner Skelton?
Yes.
Did there come a time where your family started doing more things together?
Yes.
Approximately when was that?
I'm going to say probably a year or two before the boys went missing. So probably 2008.
You have to speak up.
Okay, sure. Okay.
The microphone cannot be amplified and merely record.
Okay.
So unless you speak loudly,
Can't hear? Okay.
I'm getting old.
How would you describe the nature of your relationship with John Skelton at the time?
At the time of,
2008 when you first met him, 2009.
I just got to know him. I'd say that, we weren't as close as we become later on in life.
So you said you did become closer later on.
Yes.
Do you know when that was?
I'd say we become a lot closer when, after him and Tanya were having problems, he kind of leaned on me more than he had in the past.
Do you know when that was?
I'd say probably in the summer of 2010, we got to knowing each other more.
Were you aware of an incident where John Skelton took 2 of the boys to Florida?
Yes.
Did you become close with John before or after this incident, do you think?
Probably closer after,
And did he begin reaching out to you?
Yes.
Do you know how often he would contact you?
Sometimes, I think at one time it was up to about 10 times in a day I would hear from him.
And how would he communicate with you?
Text a lot, and occasional phone calls, but a lot of texting.
Did John Skelton ever tell you how he felt about the relationship he had with you?
Not in so many words, I'd say that, he just knew that, knew that he didn't have a lot of friends, and, he was leaning it more on me because of that.
So during the period of time where he's contacting you daily, what kind of things are you guys discussing?
It was a lot about Tanya, and, wondering about her and what she was doing, and what, he wanted to know if I could help maybe smooth things over between the two of them.
Did you agree to do that?
I told him that I'd do my best, but, that's kind of hard under the circumstances. I felt that, it's like, it was a difficult request.
Did John ever talk to you about any underground organizations during these phone conversations, or during these conversations during that time period?
No.
Did he talk to you during that time period about a Joanne Taylor?
He did talk about Joanne Taylor.
Was that before Thanksgiving of 2010 or after?
It was before.
He brought up Joanne Taylor before Thanksgiving of 2010?
Yeah.
Okay, and when did he talk about Joanne Taylor?
It was, I don't know, one of our conversations that we had, just that he had been talking to this lady, and, he connected Tanya to her unbeknownst to her.
Okay.
And, was having this lady talk to Tanya and asking her different questions.
Did he indicate with you how this Joanne Taylor person was talking to Tanya?
Through, a website called Cafe Mom.
And we're going to come back to that in a little
Okay.
bit. During this September through Thanksgiving of 2010 period, does John talk to you about another woman from Florida?
No.
Does he ever discuss suicidal thoughts with you?
No.
Does he ever discuss homicidal thoughts to you?
No.
Does he ever talk to you about specifically what he could do if he had ever had to hide a body?
Yes.
Okay, and tell me about that conversation.
I don't know, it just came up one time when we were talking, and he said that, the best place to hide bodies would, if you never want to have somebody get found, put them in a hog barn, and the hogs would eat them, which kind of was an off the wall conversation.
Did he say where that idea came from?
No.
Did he talk to you about working at any kind of hog farm or with pigs or anything like that?
Well, I knew where he worked at, so I knew they had, hogs at the farm that he worked at, the Van Brandts,
Do you know
State Line Farm.
at State Line Farm?
Yes.
Okay. And is that the one there in Morenci?
Yes.
Had you ever been to State Line Farms?
I'd been there before.
Have you seen the hogs out there?
I seen the hog barns. I'd never been inside of them.
Did he give any further detail on how he would do that, accomplish that?
Didn't really specify, just one of those things where I don't know how it ever came up, but we didn't really elaborate on details about it. So I didn't really think anything about it, just, we had conversations about a lot of things and it just didn't really give it a lot of thought, at that point.
Did there come a time when the conversations with John Skelton kind of came to a lesser than 10 times a day?
Well, I had to tell him I had to tell him to kind of back off some because it was getting, I had a job and it was getting it was always about the same thing, a lot. And it was just getting tough to deal with it because, it was always about Tanya, what she was doing and who she was with. And it was just an obsession and, it just got difficult to discuss after time.
Did John ever have a conversation with you about any custody issues?
Yeah, he did.
Would that be with Katie or with the boys?
Katie. Repeat the question.
I'll just rephrase it.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know who the custody issues, the conversations were about?
Just, the kids, he felt that, he didn't get enough time with the children.
And when you say the children, are you talking about Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner?
Yes.
Do you know if John had any other children at that time?
I wasn't aware of his other child, but, later on, I did become to know about his daughter.
Did you have a conversation with John about his trip to Florida?
Yes.
And what did he tell you about why he left with the boys?
He, John really wanted to move back to where he grew up in Florida and he felt more comfortable there. He said that Tanya wasn't open to moving and, he kept pushing and she didn't want to move. And, one day he decided to take the two boys to Florida and pull them out of school. So.
Do you recall if he told you a different story in the beginning?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
If I allow you to read your report, do you think that could help refresh your
Sure.
memory? Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
No objection.
Do you want me to read it myself?
Read to yourself, I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay. Okay.
For the record, Your Honor, that's an FBI report dated November 27th, 2010.
And Your Honor, I reviewed and stipulated everything, so no issue for me.
Do you recall if John originally told you a different story about why he took the kids to Florida?
Yeah, I do recall. He did say he was taking them on a family vacation. And, he hoped that by taking them down there, Tanya would have second thoughts about moving down there with him.
And did you question him further on that issue?
Yeah, I didn't really believe that, that was the whole purpose of him going to Florida. And I just, kind of question why he did that back then.
And then what did he tell you after you questioned again?
He just, John came back and said that, he, just felt that, Tanya needed to kind of, he was the provider and she needed to go with him, and, he was trying to do everything he could to convince her to do that.
So did you understand from that conversation that he thought it would kind of force her down to Florida?
Yes.
When discussing custody issues with you, what did John say about having the boys with him?
Well, he wanted, wanted the kids with him, and he told me that, if he couldn't have them with him, that Tanya wasn't going to have them either. So.
And that's between the November 25th stretch?
Yes.
Of 2010? Okay.
Yes.
Prior to Thanksgiving of 2010, did John ever tell you any concerns that he may have had regarding Tanya?
He had talked about her past, that he was concerned that she was doing things to the boys, which, I didn't agree with. I didn't buy into it. So.
Did he ever say there was an allegation from the boys of her doing anything?
No.
Is this the first time that you're hearing this from John?
Yes.
Did he say if he was going to do anything about that?
He didn't say he was, that he was going to do anything about it. I really didn't at the time understand what he was talking about. He didn't elaborate on what that meant. I guess I should have asked, but I didn't.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth. I just want to make sure I understand. He said that there was some fear that something might happen.
Well, his words were, if I can't have the kids, she's not going to have the kids either, which kind of went along with the story of taking them to Florida. But then the kids had to, came back. So, I didn't really think about too much about what he meant by that, at that time. It just, knowing John and, how he loved the kids, it didn't really even cross my mind.
During these conversations where he is saying to you that he's got a concern about Tanya and sexually abusing the boys, is he also telling you how he feels about Tanya?
Yes.
And how is he feeling about Tanya at this time still?
Well, he was still in love with her.
And did he express any intention to leave her because of this?
No. That was the hard problem is, if somebody was doing what John said was going on with his boys and then turn around and want to be with that person as much as he was obsessed with Tanya, it was hard to see both sides of it that in that light, it just didn't make any sense. If somebody was harming my children, I wouldn't want to be with them.
Did you say that to him?
Yeah, I told him, I said, if somebody was doing that to my children, I wouldn't want to be with them. I don't understand why you're obsessed with this person if you truly believe that's what's going on with your children.
Do you recall what he said to you?
He just, he didn't really say a lot then, but, he just kept, after that, the obsession just continued on. So it just was hard to believe that he really felt that was going on when, he's still in love with this lady, you know?
Do you recall in relation to when Thanksgiving was, approximately when that conversation would have occurred?
I'm gonna say 2 or 3 weeks prior to that.
Did you talk to John after Thanksgiving of 2010?
No. Well, yes, sorry, yes. I did talk to him at the jail.
Okay, did you talk to him at any other location?
No,
Do you recall when you spoke with him at the jail?
it was usually on a Sunday. You know, he put me on his visitor list and I would go there Sunday afternoon.
How many times do you think you went to see him?
I'm gonna say 5, 6 times, I'm guessing.
What would you guys talk about?
A lot of it was what, you know, Tanya was doing and, you know, was she with anybody? And it was just more about Tanya than, you know, talking about the children or what happened to them.
Did you ask him during those visits where the children were?
Yes, and, you know, he always like tried to change the subject and put it back on Tanya. So, you know, after a point, I just stopped going to the jail because that's what he wanted to talk about all the time. And I just was like, you know, I wanted to know where the children were.
When you said he kept talking about Tanya and bringing her up, are these conversations, what are these conversations about?
Just, you know, whether she had a boyfriend, how she was doing, if she was seeing anybody, or, you know, just more about asking questions about Tanya, you know, what was going on in her life.
Is he still expressing that he loves her?
Yes.
Is he still expressing that he wants to be married to her?
Oh, yes.
Did there come a conversation where he did express to you something that he did with the boys?
No.
Do you recall John talking to you about an organization while he was at the jail?
No, not at the jail.
Did he talk to you about an organization at all?
I don't recall.
And you did speak to the FBI back in 2010 and 2011, is that right?
Yeah, correct, yes.
Do you think reading your report might refresh you?
Sure, yes.
Go ahead and read both pages to yourself.
Okay.
Your Honor, for the record, this is an FBI report, date transcribed January 10th, 2011, investigation January 9th, 2011.
And defense is in possession, has reviewed and stipulated the subject.
Does that refresh your recollection a little bit?
Yeah, it does.
So during a visit with John Skelton at the jail, and when you say at the jail, what do you recall what jail this was?
Lenawee County Jail.
Okay. Do you recall the date of the visit?
I don't recall the date.
Okay. If this report says Sunday, January 9th, 2011, would you have any reason to disbelieve that?
No.
Okay. So during this visit, does John have a conversation with you about an underground organization?
Yes.
And what does he tell you?
Just told me that, he had been talking to these people a month prior to giving the children to this group. And that Tanya had been interviewed unbeknownst to her, by the group. And he was just, felt that it was needed to do this to get the boys away from Tanya.
And earlier you testified that he had talked to you about Joanne Taylor, who was interviewing her on Cafe Mom. Is this the same conversation that you're talking about?
No, there was a prior conversation about that, prior to this happening.
Did John indicate to you whether he had notified anybody that he believed Tanya was hurting the boys?
Prior to this happening,
Correct.
he did not, that I recall.
Do you recall if John told you what day the organization picked up the boys?
It was the day before they were supposed to be picked up from Tanya, I believe.
Do you recall reading in your report that he indicated to you it was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving that the organization picked them up?
Yeah, yes.
Did John indicate to you what the organization was doing with the boys when they picked them up?
Yeah, I don't recall.
Did he indicate if they were bringing the boys back?
Yeah, they were supposed to be bringing them back.
Do you know when?
The next, that day in the afternoon, they were supposed to be bringing them back, if I recall.
Friday afternoon?
Yes,
The
the
26th of November?
26th, yes.
Okay. Did John have a reaction to the boys not being returned at that time?
Yeah, he seemed pretty upset about it, that, the boys weren't returned when they were supposed to be.
Do you recall what he said to you about that?
He just felt that they'd misled him, and he seemed to be very upset about it and sobbing about it.
Do you recall if John talked about any victims?
John felt he was the victim because, this group took the kids, longer than they were supposed to. And John wanted to have Tanya drop the charges against him so he could get out and help try to locate the kids.
Did John indicate that he wanted her to drop the charges so that he could also be there for her? Do you recall if that happened?
Yeah, he, wanted to be, to kind of be more connected to her so they could put their minds together and try to find the children.
Did John tell you he had any conversations with his parents about this organization prior to Thanksgiving 2010?
Yes.
Okay. And when did this conversation with John occur?
In that January timeframe that I visited him.
So at the Lenawee County Jail in
Yes.
January of 2011?
Yes.
Okay, and what did he tell you about the conversation he had with his parents?
You know, he said he had talked to them about prior to this happening, that, you know, he let them know what was going on with Tanya and why he had to do this, and, you know, let them know what was going on with the children.
And did he say how his parents reacted?
You know, they seemed to be okay with it because, you know, John convinced them that this was something that was needed to be done because of his fears of what he thought was going on with the boys.
I want to go back to the conversation you had regarding the hog barn. Do you recall when that conversation would have taken place in relation to Thanksgiving 2010?
Yeah, I'm gonna say a couple of months before that.
But it was still within that September, November 2010 timeframe?
Yeah.
Do you recall where you were at when that conversation occurred?
We were at my house, you know, just talking in general, and just something that came up.
Did John come over to your house very often?
Not a lot, but, you know, a lot of our conversations were on the phone, texting, you know, it was occasionally coming over.
At the point in time where you told John that the calls were becoming too much and you kind of wanted to scale that back, did you give him any advice or tell him to do anything else?
Well, I told him to, you know, talk to Donna Galloway, the pastor, and try to talk to her more, and, you know, maybe that would help what he was trying to accomplish with me, you know, getting, maybe, you know, that could help put their marriage back together if that's what the end goal was. But that
Do you
was
know if he ever sought counseling or guidance?
yeah, he used to, you know, see Donna Galloway, he'd go in and see her quite often.
Did you have any conversations with John about where he might go or what he might do if he felt troubled?
He said he used to go to the Lost Nation, you know, occasionally, to get his mind back in the game. You know, he'd go out and visit Lost Nation sometimes.
Did he tell you how often he would go out to Lost Nations?
Not, you know, I don't recall a specific number of times, but, you know, traveling in his job, truck driving, you know, I think he would stop there on the way back or the way there just to kind of have a chance to think about things.
Did he have any conversations with you about his familiarity with Lost Nations?
He seemed to know the area quite well, you know, like where good places were to visit, to, you know, be alone.
Are you yourself familiar with the Lost Nations area?
Not a lot, you know, I know I've been there a few times in my life, but not too often.
Do you know approximately how many acres Lost Nations is?
I do not.
Can you tell me a little bit about the landscape, the terrain?
Just, you know, a lot of wilderness, a lot of trees, you know, a lot of area where, you know, it's not really many people out there, so it's very uninhibited.
Are there bodies of water out there, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge, I don't know.
Did you have any conversations with John about the pending divorce and custody issues before the court and the attorneys that they had?
You know, we had some conversations, but I can't recall everything that we talked about back then.
Do you recall any conversations? Did he express any anger with an attorney?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember that conversation?
Just, John was frustrated because they weren't, he wanted more custody time, and he didn't feel like he was getting what he wanted from the attorney back then.
Going back to November 26th of 2010, do you recall going to the hospital where John was at?
Yes.
Okay, and do you recall? Was it the 26th, that Friday, or would it have been a different date?
Could have been the 25th. I don't recall the exact date.
Okay.
But
It could have been, you're not sure of the exact date?
I'm not sure of
Okay.
the exact date.
Well, let me ask you this. Who was at the hospital?
Who was there?
Yes.
So Donna Galloway and myself,
Okay.
and the FBI, the agent that took us.
Do you know the FBI agent's name? Do you recall?
I don't.
Anybody else there?
There was a lady that was kind of a psychologist type FBI agent that was there as well that I talked to.
Do you remember what hospital this was at?
I say St. Vincent's, but I can't remember if it's Toledo or St. V's. It's been too long ago.
Did you get the opportunity to speak with John during that time?
No.
Did you get the opportunity to see him during that time?
Yes.
Tell me how.
They had us at the nurse's station, and John was in the room next door. So I got to see cameras with John in the bed at the hospital.
During that visit, did you observe Pastor Galloway go in and speak with John Skelton?
Yes.
After she spoke with him, do you recall what happened next?
Well, what happened next is we got in the FBI's vehicle and headed to Kunkel, Ohio. So
Okay. Where did you go in Kunkel?
to a school that John had, through the conversation he was having with Pastor Galloway, that he kind of remembered something about a school, and that led everybody to pack up and head to the school to see if what he was recalling was there or not, if the kids were there.
And is this something you're hearing directly from John, or is this something Pastor Galloway told you after she had spoken with him?
No, it was something I heard, while John was speaking to her. Pastor Galloway was trying to get the exact place that the children were located at, and she was talking to him, trying to press him for information, and this is what he recalled coming up with.
You say a schoolhouse in Kunkel. Was it an active schoolhouse?
No.
Okay, describe what this building is.
Just a big block building. It was like an old schoolhouse that they hadn't used it in quite some time. I remember there was it's kind of like a taller middle part of the building with flatter classrooms on the sides. And
so it's you, Pastor Galloway, one FBI agent or two?
one.
And anybody else go with you guys?
Not directly in the vehicle that we were in, but there were other people that were in other remember the exact diner, but it wasn't too far from the school.
Are you familiar with the Pioneer, Ohio area?
Yes.
And is that where, have you been out there camping before?
Yes.
Did you go with John Skelton at any point in time?
Yes.
Who all went on that camping trip?
You know, my ex-wife and 2 children, and then John and Tanya and the 3 boys. Tanya's 2 daughters, and then her family.
Is this
As
the-
her parents and sisters and brother-in-laws. And
Is this the first time you'd been out to Pioneer camping, or had you been out there before?
that was the first time that we went out there.
Have you been out there since?
I'd went camping there once after that.
So this campground in Pioneer, do you recall what it's called?
Funny Farm Campground.
How big is this campground?
It's not, it's not a real huge campground. I'd say smaller than a lot of campgrounds. I don't think it has a lot of campsites, maybe 50, 100. I don't recall the exact number, but
Tell me about the area surrounding the Pioneer, Ohio.
the
The
campground
landscape, the
or
whole
just-
area around Pioneer, Ohio.
It's more, Pioneer's a small little town. There's a lot of industrial, a lot of companies there, a lot of factories. But it's a small rural community. And, Funny Farm had, it's kind of tucked away on a dirt road. Not something that most people would know about. And this place had a pond. We were close to the pond when we camped there.
Do you recall if there were, if the Funny Farm was set back far enough away from other homes and stuff like that?
Yeah, there was quite a, there wasn't really any homes close by. I'd say there wasn't a lot of homes in that area. Just it was more of a farm type setting.
Nothing further.
Ross?
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
So were you and John relatively close then? Because it sounds like you went to the jail and the hospital to see him.
Yes.
I'd like to start talking about the hospital visit. Do you remember that?
Yes.
All right. And is it true that it was you, the pastor, and an FBI agent?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, that the pastor was pressing John?
She was trying to get information about where the children were.
Okay.
So she was trying to get information out of him. That was, that was our purpose of going. So
Oh, so you also wanted information that day?
was I wanting that? Yeah, I wanted to know where the boys were as well. So our goal was to try to help, hopefully talk John into telling us where these children were at.
And did you or the pastor talk to the FBI before that meeting?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did the FBI instruct you what to do?
No.
What was the conversation with the FBI before you went to the hospital that day, if you remember?
They really didn't give us an agenda what we needed to do. It was just they wanted us to be there to try to, because we were close to John, that hopefully we would be able to get some closure on what happened to the children.
So would it be fair to say, based upon what you're telling us, that the FBI wanted you and the pastor to assist in finding out information from John?
Yes.
And what was John's physical condition when this was going on? Was he able to leave? Able to walk around?
No, he broke his ankle.
Right. So is it fair to say that he is immobile and being questioned by the pastor with the FBI present?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about this school in Ohio, the Kunkel School. Yeah. Now, you said you didn't really want to go to that, correct?
Yeah, I didn't know, I didn't know the purpose of the visit other than to go confirm what John had come up with Pastor Donna. I wanted to talk to John. I would rather have done that than head out to a school.
Okay. How far was the school from the hospital? Any idea?
I'm going to say 40 minutes, 50 minutes, but by FBI car, maybe 20 minutes.
Gotcha. It was going pretty fast.
It was going pretty fast.
And to be clear, the school was not in Michigan.
No, it was in Ohio.
Okay. Now, did you hear what John told the pastor about the school in Ohio?
Yeah, I heard, that he was trying to recollect what, some information about the kids, where they might be, and
Remember specifically what was said? I know it's been a long time.
yeah. It's been a long time, but yeah, I think it was just where this group may have put the children at.
Okay.
Was, trying to recollect his conversations with this group and where the children may be located, since they didn't get brought back on time. So
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you were not involved in the search, is that true?
I was not.
So
Don and I sat in the car for
who was involved in the search? Was it just the one FBI agent? Was there a team of officers?
there was a team of officers. I know that Morenci Police, Don Thompson, I believe, went out there, and I think Chief Weeks was out there as well, but there were several police, police. So I don't know if all of them were FBI or what they were, but there were a lot of people out there searching.
Do you remember, to the best of your knowledge, how long did the search go on?
I don't know, maybe a half hour to an hour.
Okay. And was it still daylight?
It was dark.
It was dark.
It was dark.
I'm assuming, were there flashlights? Were there dogs, canine dogs?
Yes.
Okay. And did the FBI or anybody share the results of the search?
Yeah, they just said nothing was found. So.
Now, you mentioned this hog barn. Can you explain what was discussed about a hog barn?
We were just carrying on a conversation, and just out of the blue, John had said something about, like, if you ever, because him and I shared a lot of thoughts, we discussed a lot of things when we get together, and just out of the blue, he said, if you ever had to get rid of somebody, hog barns, or, hogs, eat the body and just, there's nothing left. There's no evidence. It's like, no, I didn't know that, but I didn't really elaborate why he's giving me that information. But
do you ever share anything about how hogs don't eat teeth? Did we get that specific about anything?
We didn't get that specific.
Okay. Tell me about, and I'm getting this wrong, sorry, Lost Nations?
Lost Nation.
Lost Nations. What is that exactly?
It's just it's an area where it's kind of a preserve, just a lot of trees, a lot of wilderness. Nobody really built on it. It's just it's more of a nature area that, somebody could go out and walk through the woods, and, they're not going to build houses, or it's up in the Hillsdale County area.
Was it a place that you and John would hang out together or just discuss?
We just discussed it. I never, went there with John to Lost Nation.
And would it be fair to say you really don't know a ton about the dynamics of the area?
No.
Okay. How about Funny Farm? What is that exactly?
It's a campground for, RV campground.
Did you guys hang out there at all?
We did one time.
Okay. Was that something like you planned, or was it just a spur of the moment trip? And what is Funny Farm campground? Like, do you know how big it is or anything?
I'm going to say 50 to 100 campsites. My ex-wife and Tanya and her family planned over Memorial Day weekend, a trip out there.
Did you guys do couples groups together when you were both married?
Occasionally,
Like dinners, movies, anything like that?
not really dinners or movies. We would do things at the church. Occasionally get together, but not a lot as a group.
And was Pastor Galloway your pastor as well, all in the same church?
Yes,
Okay. Did John attend regularly, do you know?
yes,
Okay. So he was a member of the church.
yes.
Tell me about his conversations about his children. You mentioned custody. Did he seem concerned he wasn't seeing them enough?
Yes,
Did he want to see them more?
yes,
Did you ever see John do anything harmful to his children?
no,
Did he ever badmouth his children?
no,
Did he seem frustrated he didn't get to see his children enough?
yes.
From your point of view, did he truly love his children?
Yeah, he loved his children.
Tell me about this underground, is it sanctuary? Underground group, I believe the prosecutor mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. When did that first come to your attention?
Probably within a month before the children went missing,
Okay.
somewhere in that October to November timeframe.
And correct me if I'm wrong, sir, but you also mentioned this happened at a jail visit that came up in conversation?
Yes, yeah,
Right.
happened again.
Now, the jail conversation, do you know if that was a video recording or was it just,
No, it was a video recording.
it was a video recording of
Yes.
that? Okay. Let's go back to a month before these allegations. Do you remember what John told you about the underground sanctuary?
Just that, John had been talking to this group. He had come in contact with them on one of his trips to Holland, Michigan, and was having conversations with him about his situation. And, they were having conversations with Tanya, unbeknownst to her, over the internet through Cafe Mom.
Now, so is it true that the underground sanctuary was talking to Tanya on Cafe Mom?
Yes,
And he shared that with you maybe in October 2010. Would that be fair?
could have been October or November. I don't know the exact
Gotcha.
date.
What is the significance of the name Joanne Taylor?
That was the person that, he was communicating to, and she was communicating to Tanya.
So was Joanne Taylor a member of the underground sanctuary to your knowledge?
I assume, yes, that she was a member of that group.
Joanne Taylor allegedly is the one who was reaching out to Tanya on Cafe Mom.
Correct.
Did you ever meet Joanne Taylor?
No,
How often did John bring her up? If you know.
I'd say maybe a couple, 2 or 3 times. I don't know. Just,
Did you get to know John pretty well?
yes.
When he spoke to Joanne Taylor, what was your impression? Was that a true person in your mind?
Objection calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Sorry, what's it? You mentioned that John became a little too much talking about Tanya. Is that correct?
Yes.
You explain that to the court?
Just, John was obsessed with Tanya. He loved her and wanted her back. I truly believe he wanted his family back at that time, back to the way it was. But Tanya wasn't having any part of it, and he didn't know how to change that.
And how does Florida play a role in all this, if you can help me with that?
Well, John, that was where he came from, was Florida. That was where his parents were at and his sister was at. I feel that John felt more comfortable in Florida than he was in Morenci. So,
Did he express to you he wanted to move back to Florida?
yes,
Did he express to you that he wanted Tanya and his family to go to Florida?
yes,
So, based on your communications, would it appear that John thought Florida would be a fresh start for the family?
yes.
Did anything about the Florida situation, your conversations, seem harmful to the family?
Objection relevance.
Judge, I think the whole thing is cross-examination. They made a huge issue about Florida. I'm entitled to review that.
I will allow it to some extent.
So again, for Florida, based on your conversations with my client, did it appear he thought anything harmful would be part of Florida, or do you think it was a fresh start?
I felt it was a fresh start.
The risk of being repetitive, based on your relationship with John, was there any doubt in your mind that he loved Tanya and his children?
No,
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, you talked about John talking about Joanne Taylor a number of times to you, is that correct?
yes,
And your testimony today was that that was before Thanksgiving of 2010?
the one time.
Okay. And you read, did you read your entire FBI report that I handed you? I apologize.
Yes,
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
this,
Yes. And that was an FBI report dated November 27th, 2010. Do you recall speaking to the FBI
yes,
then? And did you tell them that Skelton had never mentioned the names Mark or Joanne Taylor?
that's what it says in the report, yes.
And do you recall saying that?
I recall, it's been 16 years ago, so sometimes things get mixed in, where the time frame where they really happen, but I assume that that's correct.
You indicated that you knew John Skelton pretty well, correct?
Yeah,
Would you consider him your best friend in 2010?
I would say that he was a good friend, but I wouldn't say he's my best friend.
Do you know if he ever conveyed that he felt like you were his best friend?
Yes,
Did he talk to you about feeling like you were a brother to him?
I don't recall that.
So during this conversation, when John comes to you and says that he has some concerns about Tanya harming the boys sexually, okay? I want to talk about that. And I believe you testified, you told him that didn't really make sense, that he still loved her and wanted to be with her after that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you have a conversation with him about calling the police?
Yes.
Okay. And who did you tell him to contact?
Well, I told him, that he should contact the local police department if he felt that strongly that something was going on with his children. I asked him why he didn't do that sooner, if that was what was bothering him.
Okay.
But, I feel John also, having those feelings, he also really loved Tanya. So, he was struggling at that time to try to do both things, still love her and then get her in trouble because he's having these feelings. So.
And so again, before Thanksgiving of 2010, is he telling you that he thinks that something might happen?
He didn't tell me in specific words that something might happen, but, he did say that if he's going to lose his children, that if he couldn't have them, that Tanya wasn't gonna have them either, so.
Mr. Amadeo asked you if John told you about this Joanne Taylor and communicating over Cafe Mom, correct?
Yes,
And you have never met Joanne Taylor, correct?
correct.
And have you ever communicated with Joanne Taylor over any means?
No,
And do you know that Joanne Taylor identity was created at John Skelton's residence?
yes,
And do you know that the email associated with Joanne Taylor came back to John Skelton?
yes,
And have you ever had a phone conversation with this Joanne Taylor?
no.
When did you learn that those items came back to John Skelton?
Through some of the conversations I had with Chief Weeks and the Morenci Police Department.
Up until that time, had John had a conversation with you about, before Thanksgiving of 2010, did John have a conversation with you about these people, Joanne Taylor, or this underground community coming to his house?
Yes,
Okay, and what did he say about them coming to his house?
that they were, gonna pick the boys up and protect them from Tanya.
And did you ever report that to anybody?
No,
Okay, not back in 2010 when you were asked by the FBI?
did I report it after it happened?
After the boys went missing in 2010, did you report to the FBI that John had told you this prior to that time?
I don't recall if I,
Okay.
that time.
In fact, the report says you had never heard of Joanne Taylor or this organization, correct?
Yes,
Mr. Amadeo asked you about John Skelton hurting the boys. Do you recall the questions along those lines?
yes.
To the best of your knowledge, who was the last person to have those boys?
John,
Skelton?
yes, John Skelton,
The John Skelton that you've been talking about today, is he in this courtroom?
yes,
And can you point to him and identify him for the court
yes, right there
in the orange?
in the orange.
I'd ask the record to reflect he's identified the defendant.
So stipulated for prelim purposes.
When was the last time you saw Andrew Alexander and Tanner Skelton?
About a week before they went missing.
So November 2010?
Yeah.
So to the best of your knowledge, John Skelton had them for Thanksgiving holiday in 2010, and you have never seen them since.
Correct.
During this period of time, is John having conversations with you about his employment?
We were talking about, I think John had lost his job, if I recall, but it's been too long of it.
Was that one of the reasons he wanted to move to Florida?
I believe so, just to get a fresh start and get things going down there.
So you believe he indicated to you that he had actually lost his job?
That's what I recall.
Nothing further.
Do you remember if John was excited to see his children for the holiday, Thanksgiving?
you know, we did really talk about him seeing the children at Thanksgiving. Prior to that, the children were at my house. You know, we were having a party, and the kids, you know, and John came to the party for my daughter's birthday.
And you would not intentionally lie to the police, correct?
No.
Would it be fair to say that 16 years ago, there's things that could be forgotten?
Yeah, there's things that could be forgotten. Yeah.
Based on your experience with John Skelton, did you ever see any reason why he'd want to hurt his children?
No.
Is there an answer?
It's pure cross-examination based on what was opened up, Judge.
Well, that doesn't call for speculation. I don't know what does. But it's been asked, it's been answered, it's on the record.
I have nothing further.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They can be excused.
No objection.
What? So you just testified that you didn't think John would hurt his boys in 2010, correct?
Correct.
But just to be clear, he did make the statement to you, if he can't have the boys, Tanya will not have them.
He did make that statement. Yes.
Nothing further.
Can he be excused?
No objection, Judge.
Yes.
You may sit down and welcome to stand.
Okay.
We're gonna take our action.
All right, please. He's my brother.
So that was the afternoon recess break. I assume it might be 10 minutes or so. So it shouldn't be too bad. And I think that we can try to do a little recap. What do you think? Let me put this. There we go. Make it a little bit more colorful, you know. So let's see what I can check from my notes. So again, they spoke through several witnesses. One gentleman at the end there was all about his friendship. They did speak about another option of getting rid of bodies. Yesterday, they spoke about, or earlier today, I should say, a coworker of his said that he piped into a conversation about to hide a body, get rid of a body that can't be found, you would leave it in the swamp area. Again, did he say he would or in general? That's I don't remember. But now we're hearing about a hog farm. And I think I made the comment, I think it's in one of the Hannibal Lecter movies where a gentleman, bad guy, falls into a carnivorous pig pen and they devoured him. So not to be gross, but it is possible, right? Yes, all three boys are very sweet looking. And I can't believe at the ages they were that they were that much trouble to cause so much friction and issues for either parent. that wouldn't want them. It's just mind-boggling to me. It really is. And I would hope that this hearing does get bond over for trial. This is evidentiary. We're hearing a lot of stuff come out that I did not even find in my research because not everything's out there, right? Makes sense. So we've had a lot of emotional testimony. We've had straightforward factual testimony. And so far, everybody's been on the stand is either slightly aware of things and had very little to information to share. But I think, the prosecution wants everybody and anybody up there to give support to what things that he has said so that the judge can have a full, all the information possible to make her proper decision, whether it be it stays where it doesn't go to trial or it will go to trial. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now we're on a recess, so I don't want to disconnect and start a third stream. So I've got some more information I can share, but let me just double check this. So it's usually 15 to 30 minutes, or they could turn it into a lunch break, an hour and a half. It did seem pretty quick when she broke earlier. I thought she said for lunch, and that was, I got my times wrong. She said we'll reconvene at 1:15 p.m. I assume East Coast. Now it's counting forward, not backwards. So I apologize. Yeah, I don't recall her saying it was an overnight recess, so they would obviously start again tomorrow, but I think they're going to come back. And let me just share stuff. We'll keep talking until I can see what happens here. Let me mute this and let it play. And then I think they're going to make it a short ending because right now on the East Coast, it is 2:30. I think we got about an hour and a half, maybe. So we'll see if they go that length of time, less or more. I don't know. But so many cases, the judges are calling it early or half-day sessions, and we're not even made aware of it, right? I've had that happen before where I was all prepped up for Tyler Robinson, and there was a day there was just a couple hours. That was it. And okay, it is what it is. So let's see. Regarding this case, we have the testimony from Tanya. I don't know why I want to see Tanya so much, right? But it's Tanya Zuvers, the Florida pressure point, testified about the mounting friction in late 2010, noting John's persistent pressure to pack up and move the family to Florida. Now, you heard his quote unquote friend that is also divorced, so they probably bonded, who John seems to have considered to be his best friend under testimony by this guy. And told him about he wanted to bring his boys to Florida because he feels more comfortable there. I don't know if that included family, like John's family is also there, which could play into the decision if Tanya felt more comfortable with that, or they're just making a cold cut move, right? So it's kind of interesting. Yes, you're right, Lama. It is tricky. It is the tricky part of live court, right? Which is fine. We all work around it, not a big deal. I just want to keep going because I don't want to start a third stream. I don't want to lose y'all. All of you. Thank you so much for being here. This is an important case, though. It's horrific, and it's been a long time coming. And again, I was born and raised in Michigan, so it kind of touches my heart to think 3 boys went missing and now presumed unalived. And a father who had spent time in jail, just about to be released last year, I think, or this year. And then the prosecutor filed the charges. And there is that question in Michigan about prosecuting someone for M without any body or remains. Oh, okay. He's from Florida. Gotcha. Thank you. So pressure Pratt resisted because the boys were rooted in their community and their support system. So she was focused on herself and her comfort zone, plus the boys. Prosecutors are leaning heavily on establishing John's deep-seated jealousy and controlling behavior regarding her relationship with her family, framing the custody at Thanksgiving weekend as a planned flashpoint than a routine holiday. Interesting. Andrew Alexander Tanner's bodies have never been found, and they were legally declared unalived. That's what kicked it off. Once they were legally declared unalived, that means then, okay, they've passed. Now we can file charges, because even though we don't have bodies, they can file the charges, see if the judge takes all the evidence that's being presented, right? And they are able to share that and see what her decision is, if it's going to go to trial or not. Lama adds, but Tanya couldn't go because she had to have permission from the state because she was on parole, probation, and SO. As she couldn't just pack and go, and he knew that. Yes, that's true too. You're right. But if she was interested, she could have, looked into that. So it doesn't seem like she wanted to, obviously. And also, the story about him telling the boys about her past, they're too young. It's not appropriate. Where did that come from, John? It makes you stop and think what was going on through his head, just to hurt her and make her cow down to what he wants. I don't think so. Prosecutors are chaining together the original 2010 investigation, cell phone pings heading into Ohio, failed S attempt, and his circumstantial wall proving open murder. The eve of release charges. I'm going to, John Skelton was literally days away from finishing his 10 to 15-year sentence for wrongful imprisonment in late 2025 when Lenawee County prosecutors dropped the open M and evidence tampering charges. He was in jail this whole time. Isn't that crazy? He was convicted on another situation and was spending 10 to 15 years in jail, prison, whatever. And all that time, he never spoke out. Yeah, agreed. It does. He sucks. He's a challenging guy who was allegedly took the lives of his 3 boys. How does he live with himself now? That's the most mind-boggling part. I don't understand anybody who can do that to children. It's horrific. Let them live their lives. Let them have fun. Let them enjoy themselves, because life gets harder as you grow up. So give them that chance, everybody. That's all I'm asking. I have very little to say about him too, Lama. I don't want to badmouth them because all this is alleged, right? We don't know everything yet until it goes through trial and a jury or a judge decides that he's guilty or not guilty. That's all we can hold on to. And we know many people that should be in court in trial and being found guilty, but that's opinion more than anything else. So this isn't the full trial. This is the preliminary examination to lock the case in and push it to circuit court. So just keep in mind, yesterday and today and potentially tomorrow, I don't know if it's going to go all week, but just a few days for sure, to get all the evidence and witnesses on under oath, and then provide that all to the judge, who I do like the judge. She's really cool as far as I'm concerned. She's smiling and she's making it more lighthearted for people, but she's also stern. It makes a big difference. So Judge Laura J. Shadler, the district court judges serving Lenawee County's 2A district court are Judge Todd M. Morgan and Judge Laura J. Shadler. So this is Judge Shadler. And probate matters regarding the boys' legal declarations of unalived were handled by Judge Catherine Sala. So that's good. I am putting that in here to keep all my notes in one place. Yay. It's very important to do this sometimes, on the fly and not getting high. in this wired headphone set. I mean, I hear everything in the courtroom. I hear paper shuffling. I heard a guy sneeze and cough. I heard a little walking shuffle. I'm like, these are either really good or the service that they're providing is really, really good. So the manufactured alibi, Zuvers' testimony regarding the suspicious emails from the Joanne Taylor, who we just heard an email address that went back to John. So we've heard that before, right? Fake names, fake email addresses, crazy talk. Highlights Skelton's active deception. The account was used to feed the narrative that the boys were safe and someone else will, while deflecting the blame away from him. That's pretty deep. I wonder how many books on that he has in his home that he's read over the years, right? Of how to, conspiracy theories and such, and how to protect yourself. Zuvers' description of entering the Morenci home on November 27, 2010, finding a trash, personal scrapbooks missing, a rope tied into a chair banister, which seems to them is a setup, right? Destroy the home, put the rope on there, make it look like it's. I would think that there'd be 3 chairs. Don't you think? 3 chairs, 3 ropes? I don't know. Maybe there were, but they're just saying it's 1. Specific details directly feed into the 3 counts of tampering with evidence. The Skelton is facing alongside open M. Prosecutors are using these physical markers to demonstrate a frantic post-incident and cleanup and a psychological collapse. Another mental health issue case. It could be his defense. We don't know yet. What I want you to focus on also is, or keep in mind, watch how the defense handles the lack of body versus the prosecutor's web of circumstantial evidence. The boys were legally declared unalived last year. A no-body M case requires an airtight chain of logic showing that death was the direct result of the defendant's criminal agency. Oh, do you ever get a very stiff back and neck from sitting too long? I have those issues. Sorry. Let's see. We have the cell phone tower pings, geolocation data, digital forensics and electronic communications, and law enforcement and first responder testimony. Excuse me. So, as far as witnesses go, court will be resuming soon, so hold there, please. And when you type too fast like I do, I open up another window. I had half information typed in. It's just crazy talk. So we have, as far as the witnesses today, Donna Galloway, Pastor Donna Galloway spoke. She was a former pastor. Keith Prelip, a former co-worker employed at 3D Transport, testified about John's behavior at work leading up to the disappearance, including John's complaints about marital troubles, his request for driving routes down to Florida, and how his work attendance and demeanor deteriorated after those Florida runs were revoked. Well, if you're not doing your job, you can and get things there on time, and pick things up on time and get them back on time, it's going to cause trouble for the company. So it kind of makes sense that they pulled you off the route. So improve your performance and get back on your route. So what was going on in Florida the whole time, right? Was he setting things up for the house and getting a situation for his family instead of doing his job? So, at least be honest with your employer. Say, look, I'm going to take a extra 4 hours on that delivery. So I'll be back, 4 hours later. So is that cool with you? At least figure it out. You don't have to say what you're doing, but just say you need some time. David McFarland, the attorney who represented Tanya, her original divorce and custody filings against John. He was called to the stand, expedited legal process in late 2010 to file Tanya's divorce and navigate the urgent custody disputes. That was pretty interesting too, because it didn't take long for him to get a lawyer and countersued it. And this afternoon, we're going to be speaking. They're going to be presenting law enforcement and forensic witnesses during this afternoon session. Dun, 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 dun. Gotta love forensics. It is well worth it. Okay, so I'm going to pop it back on the screen. They haven't started yet, but they're kind of scrolling photos and names of people. So I think that's kind of cool to watch. And it'll give me a restroom break. So let's do that, okay? Let me pop this back up there. Move you, do you. And I'm going to go silent and use the restroom. Be right back. You're welcome, Llama. Try to pull as much as I can, and then I get flubbergated. But this is just some stuff they're playing right here till the case continues. So it is planned to jump over to the same case in this stream. So I'm not going to end and start a new one. We just have to hang in there a little bit longer, and then we can catch up, start the next session, which I think is going to get even more interesting because they're bringing in the forensic stuff. Hopefully, we shall see that. Plus, you have the investigators, detectives, those from the past, the newer ones that have been investigating over the 15 years. It's a long time. So fingers crossed. And there is, let me go back to just the screen. Hold, please.
You guys feel comfortable. There's 3 of us.
No, I don't hear. Do you want to start just with the basics, right?
Yep, I can do that. John, we have to read these to you. Okay, standard when someone is in custody. Okay, I don't know if you've heard them before, but I'm gonna read them, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have them present, which you have here. While the questions are going on, if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you at county expense for any question if you wish. If you give up your right to remain silent and later wish to stop answering questions, no further questions will be asked. You understand each of these rights? Okay. Having these rights right to you, you wish to talk to us now? Yes? This, like we said, this is being recorded. It's for your safety and for ours.
Try to say yes or no, don't just shake your head about it. So,
One of the things that we'd like to talk to you about is just sort of timeline of events that occurred, you know, because from talking to other people, it's hard to get the same story every time about contacts that you've had and the activities that happened. So, I think we'll, go ahead.
now we're starting from boys, the people I've contacted, where did I start?
Well, let's start with, when did you first communicate with the organization?
The exact time, date would be in my blog books. I took, I think those are in my house. But I went to Holland.
Michigan?
Holland, Michigan, yeah. Dropped off the road and I'm trying to remember the date of that documentary.
It's all relatively recent. We don't want to go back too far.
Well, yeah, it's recent. Last day of work was like November 1st.
Okay, so we're in the month of November.
Yeah, well, actually, that was the last time that I worked, so we're talking end of September to October.
Okay.
Area, somewhere right around there. It was one of the last, few trips that I made.
Try to work on sort of a November timeline. I have a blank calendar in November. What I'd like to try to figure out is, when were you in contact with anyone in this organization? And by the organization, do we mean Joanne Taylor, or do we mean the organization? Are they one and the same?
Well, I met a guy named Virgil at drug stop. You know, strangers, you just talk, you know. It's easy, you know, to talk to people that see and see again, you know. But I told him what was going on, my worries about Tanya. And this was in October.
And this was at a truck stop?
Yeah, JD, well, it was stopped there at, Niles, that's why I did my load up in Holland, I went down, 31 over the Niles, yeah. 31 and 12, there's the JD's truck stop, I think it is. It's just north of, South Bend.
All right, you need this guy, you told me about concerns about your kids.
Yeah, just tell them, you know, like, I was afraid that, you know, Tanya was gonna, you know, take the kids, stuff like that, and she was a sex offender and all good stuff. And he said, well, give me your address and I'll get you in contact with somebody that might be able to help you. And that was the first time I met them.
All right, then what happened?
And then I had a couple more, well, a few days after that, when I got home, there was a package in my mailbox. I told you this thing. It was a paper bill and a local, it was, just a big one. There was a bunch of papers, business card, and a phone. Postage? No postage. So, opened it up. Read a bunch of stuff.
Where are the papers and business cards now?
They took some of them and I burned some of them in the chimney in the back of my house.
Because one of the things that we're trying to do as we go through this timeline is find any piece of information that another person can corroborate. Or a piece of paper, or a phone call, or email, or something, so.
I checked the chimney. And I burned some, there was more than one telephone. I would switch phones just in case. Cell phone, you know.
Did you do any checking into the organization, any references, any?
No. I said I had a couple interviews. I met them in Angola.
But how did you know they weren't just random crazy people who wanted to take your children?
Because the Virgil was, the only thing I call it the transporter for the Amish. I had a 15-person band. I see them around all the time.
All right, so you get the tax on the email box.
Yeah.
What do you do with the phone? What do the neighbors say?
I called the phone. It was only one number programmed into it.
Okay,
Contact.
what was the number?
The
The local number, or was there an area code attached to it?
576 number. 576 number.
517? 517. All right, what did they say when they answered the phone?
They asked me who I was. I told them my name. And I guess they were expecting my phone call. They told me to be over. I was trying to remember where my first meeting was, if it was over in Angola or if it was over in Jackson.
But no one else
I met them.
saw the meeting, no one else heard the phone call, no one else saw the phone,
Yesterday, Friday.
but no one else, no one saw that phone in your house. Your kids never saw the phone.
Yeah, the kids did. Yeah, the kids, they came over to my house. At the very beginning, just.
We'd like to get forward to that, so they call you, you talk, they call you, talk. When did they come visit you?
Yes. First time to come visit me.
Before we get to that, so I just ask a question. You said that when you talked to me, this is before the 8-year process, so you did meet her at that subway in Angola?
Yeah.
And you don't know if that's the second or the third time?
Yeah, I can't remember if that was, if that was the first meeting that I went to,
Right.
or if the one in Jackson, as a Chevron patient was by the president.
The one in Angola, you met with Virgil and somebody else.
Yeah, do it.
And that was that's the first time you met Joanne? You did that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And now, did you go inside the subway in Angola?
At one point, I did, use the bathroom there.
Right. You remember whether Virgil and Joanne Taylor were there?
I don't know. Was it, was the thing that they just didn't.
Do you have reason to believe that Virgil or Joanne Taylor are their real names?
I don't think Joanne, because the business card that I had the name Judy on it.
So Joanne Taylor, in your estimation, is a minimum.
Virgil could be his name. But I also
Joanne Taylor's card also says Judy.
On the back of it, just everyone was Judy.
The other thing was you said you did go to a Chevron and had met Joanne and Virgil there too, is that right?
Yeah, that was it. I went in there,
And you remember if they went inside there?
I don't know, our meeting took place across the street, there's a lot right there. That is
Across from the Chevron?
yeah, a kitty corner to it, there's a lot of big trucks.
And you said there's a Pacific Pride or something?
Yeah, it's like a private fuel station, right there at the Chevron.
That's on 127 here in Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want,
Yeah, no, that's,
those are before you ever met any of these people at your house, those two meetings.
Those meetings took place before they came.
sometime in October-ish.
Yes, between October 21st, 22nd, and, I'm trying to remember the first time.
Right. And you don't remember which one was first, whether it was Angola or whether it was, no, sorry.
That's perfectly okay.
Right.
Okay, so Joanne, Judy, and Virgil, did they then meet you at your house? When was that?
Sometime first, second, year. It was a week in November.
I wrote that for you. You can write on
Didn't
that.
have the voice. I did not have a voice. What's
That's Thanksgiving, right?
This is the last day you worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you meet with before your last day work or after your last day?
No, it was after. It was after. That's where they came. They came to my house and then.
So both of them came? Did Joanne, Judy have any family members?
That was the first meeting.
Okay.
All right,
Sometime November 2, 3, 4-ish, they were at your house.
I'm trying to go back in my head here.
We can make that up later, but sometime in the first week in November.
Yeah. I know it was a day that I did not have the kids. I did not have the kids. I'm thinking it was like the second.
Okay, so they came to visit at your house,
Yes.
all right? Did anybody else see them? Did they come in one car? Did they come in two cars? Okay.
I don't know if anybody's home or anything because I wasn't.
You did well, you did go to lunch and run into people that you knew or anything like that. All right, so Judy and Virgil were both there. Judy, Joanne.
Was everybody else there? No. Come with them?
Not this meeting, not the first, or not my first meeting. Our second meeting,
Do you know where they were coming from? Where did they live?
in the Jackson area. And that's where, on our other meeting, two of
was Joanne, Judy,
Yeah, Joanne, Virgil, Elijah, Sue, me, and the boys.
When you keep saying Judy,
Joanne, Judy, I think it's the same entity, right?
I don't think if he knows the woman, tell her about the card.
Well, yeah, like on the business card, I mean, all it said, it said, United Foster Outreach, and, underground sanctuaries. On the back of it was just handwritten, Judy.
So did she ever tell you what her name was? What did she tell you to call her?
No, Joanne. And that's actually, I was the initial person who called her Joanne by mistake. I think. I thought, you know, I kind of forgot what the card said. I didn't have a card. I said Joanne. She said yes.
Okay, so I'm Joanne, Virgil, Elijah, and Sue. No reason to believe that any of these names are anyone's actual names, right?
I don't know, I didn't ask her for identification.
Well, I'm just saying that
I
trying to
didn't.
clarify that it makes no sense for us to expend a ton of people to go out and look for Sue, last name unknown, somewhere in Michigan, because she heard that.
Yeah. Right.
You know, there's no sense to go out and look at every Joanne Taylor in the country because that wasn't really her name.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's.
That's all I'm just trying to make sure. What
Yeah, I
makes
mean,
sense to
yeah,
spend time and
it's-
energy on, and that doesn't make sense.
Or,
And then the same time they come, how do they come? How do they get there?
you said there was a van, and then there was another silver, either silver white or white, I don't know, it was a light color.
So they all came in one vehicle?
Yes. It was light, I don't know what the heck you call it, the cars are getting kind of weird now.
So they're all adults, right?
Yes.
The kids, to my knowledge, we never mentioned that they met a group of people that came over to visit. Would there be a reason why they wouldn't have mentioned it? So that was on the 10th? When else did they come?
Yeah, it was on the 10th there.
Okay.
And then. They came and they brought kids with them. That's why I was thinking, no, there's not gonna be, they're not out to get my kids.
How many kids did they bring?
Just to,
And who lived there?
oh, yeah,
All four?
yeah,
Plus 6 people?
plus 2 kids.
One vehicle again? And? So 6 people at the house. Did anybody else see or hear anything? Because again, the kids never mentioned this to anybody that I've talked to. You know, so I'm trying to find stuff that, the neighbors didn't see a car, and they saw them over.
I don't know how my wife didn't see the cars, on the 10th.
Like your next door neighbor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in front of my house. It wasn't in my driveway, it was in front of my house.
All right, so had that meeting, how long were they there? Just for the day on the 19th?
Yeah, it wasn't, it was during the day. I'm not sure if Brecken had come down that day or not.
It was Brick.
The neighbor kid, 5 houses down. There's Brecken and Chambers. But double check. I remember it being down there this time, but I don't know if they were there with the other kids that called them out playing in back.
And what time of the day is this on the 19th? Does it come, do you know?
How did they have to do that for lunch?
So it's light out, right?
Yes.
And your kids are going too?
And your mom told me that, Joanne had met Tanya. You know when that was?
On the internet.
Oh,
Back to the, yeah, no, or no, not in person, no, over the internet, actually, that's, during 10th,
Do you mind marking on there just the days that they visited, just put DC or something? Sometime in the first week, you can put a question mark next to that one. And then in 10th and 19th, according to you, I'm trying to put days in here.
yeah.
So put a question mark on that one, 'cause we're not sure about that one.
Are you certain of those other
The
changes?
easiest, the best way, you have the notes from my computer.
We tried to somewhere, but I don't.
The first meeting that we had. The first and second meeting that we had is when Joanne made the campaign law. And so that should be activated as our date.
November 6th. On a Saturday.
Unfortunately.
Okay. So which one was the mom visit? So she made,
This was the first time she came over my campaign. Set that up, and they interviewed me. Oh, let me see here. Boys here. Boys here in my house. We're up 6. Boys should have been at my house.
her family says they were not. And I'm just throwing that out there because there's some text messages that show back and forth between the two of you that indicate that.
I hadn't done this day and this day. So I mean, this was the changes week. This was my weekend. This is Tanya's weekend. This is my weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I had a weekend.
So Joanne and Virgil were both there, right?
Yes.
And they're
This was like, it was evening. I know they were there for a while.
when you talk evening, what's evening?
5, 6.
Is it dark out or what?
It was getting dusty.
Or did I count that?
No, yeah,
Yeah, it was getting hard.
and they were there a while.
Now, when you went up, I'm sorry to back up again, but when you went up to visit them in Angola and Jackson, were you in your truck or in your personal car? Did you adjust to see them, or was it swing by while you were in your truck?
One of them, the one that didn't go, was my truck.
Okay.
It was in my truck.
Do you have your laptop with you? Did you travel around it? Do you have your, phone with you? Which phone? You're gonna come here, just walk out on that one thing.
You talking about this personal?
Yeah, personal phone.
Yeah, but, well, Tanya had, we had, Tanya and I had a shared plan. We had a phone.
Okay, and the same with Jackson, except you were in your car? Right? In your did you have your cell phone? I know the shared phone that you had, but you didn't have.
No, I can't remember when, November, no, it was, I don't know when I got my new phone. That's the thing, I don't know when I got my new phone. I didn't keep these dates relevant because,
And the phone that you had most recently, that was the newest phone that you swapped out to,
yeah, I was waiting for.
do you know what phone number that was?
Oh, you're talking about the one that I used to communicate with them?
No, your regular old phone.
My phone? Yeah, 567.
576? 567.
First note is 567. 239. It was Brian phone number. 567 239 2072.
So that's possible.
That was my phone number. That was my phone number.
Okay, so November 6th, you had the kids with you.
Fast forward.
The kids were there, Joanne was there, Virgil. She may have a cafe on account.
Yeah, because that was going to be used for the interview tape.
If you would, just put the, or on for internet stuff, or choose on your internet on Saturday. And then they came down again on the 10th, and again on the.
Wait, wait, when she set up this cafe, but that was so that they could interview your Tanya's there, and you, I think you told me, do you know whether Tanya ever responded? It was like a questionnaire or something, is that what it was?
No, just trying, I think they were just trying to talk to her.
Okay, and do you know whether she ever responded back to them?
I don't think so. I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
All right, that's all.
Okay. And then they came back
Yeah.
on the drive, so 3 days later, they came back
Came back.
on the 10th. Or not, I mean,
Yeah, I guess. All the dates are on my computer. All the dates are on my computer. So, if I don't know the dates, the dates are wrong
how are they on your computer?
because when they would come over, they'd use my computer to check cafe mode. And there was times I checked it too, because it was just on there. I never responded to anything. I never saw any responses. There was one response. Tanya asked, "Who is this?" And that's when we made the backstory about me and all those kind of stuff.
So when they would come and use
Cafe
the
mode.
internet or come to your house, did they ever interact with anyone else? Did they ever speak to any of your neighbors? Did you ever see any other kids?
Don't make, I think she could bring Seamus and Russell were over there, had been playing with the kids in the backyard.
But never saw the adults?
They never came, they didn't come into the house, but, you know, again, I don't know if they were playing before they came or after they came, I don't know.
So they came on the 19th.
Yeah. And I don't, normally, when I have company, I don't go over to my neighbor's house and say, hey, I'd like to meet somebody, you know?
So on the 19th, they left at night or daytime, when were they there?
This one, I believe was more during the day.
Did they do anything? And were they?
Yeah, after 3 o'clock or something, I didn't,
Why?
because I had a boy that had a big deal.
Why did they come visit?
Huh?
Why did they come visit?
Oh, just to see the boys. They just, other, all the other stuff that made it such a necessity.
So they would, when they would come down, did they call ahead to tell you that they were coming?
Yeah,
Or they would just show up at your house?
no, I would call them on their phone and we would,
Okay, where are all these phones now?
they took the phone, I had different phones every visit, usually, they try to visit. And I did, when I was supposed to get a new phone on the 1st of December, but we didn't get that far. I give them the phone on the 25th. I gave them their phone.
But I'd like to just start on the 19th, just really go through almost, everything that you remember doing. So the 20th, Andrew's birthday, what did you guys do? They stayed over Friday night, right? You took the kids, they talked to Virgil and Jillian.
Virgil, Joanne, Sue. Sue was supposed to be like some kind of teacher. She was the one who was gonna teach, teach them about what they do, where they're gonna be, and all that stuff, so. But transition from electronics to no electronics, that's it. Yeah, that's what I did.
Andrew's birthday?
Yeah. We just chilled out. Being okay. We don't really. This is like.
Okay.
Yep, we made a cake.
What time did you eat the cake? Do you remember? Lunch cake, dinner cake?
No, it was dinner. It was after.
Okay. What time about to eat dinner?
6-ish. 6:30, something like that.
You ever go on the computer that day?
I was on the computer a lot.
Do you remember doing an hour or 2 hours worth of searches on how to break necks with your hands? Do you know what that was? Really?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because, we were, watching movies, kid stuff. Right? How they do that, can you really do that? And it was during one of their visits, there, they watch these movies, they start doing their karate chopping or something.
And then at what point over that weekend, and what were the circumstances surrounding the kids finding out about teen and sex offender status?
That happened on the 20th. I was talking to Joanne.
Was it before or after dinner? How are you talking to Joanne? Okay. What did you say to the kids then?
Well, they were, I told them, what their mom did. I told them it was a long time ago, and I told them that, she was different. And then,
Kids told their school counselor later next week, I think, that you showed them some paperwork about the sex offender. Right? So they never mentioned a phone call or any visitors.
it was, Yeah, they, on the 20th, we have, I think we have that. We have those originals. It comes back from.
What I'm getting at is that the kids remember learning about the, it's traumatic for kids to learn something like that at that age. They remembered that, but they did not recollect anyone coming to visit, and they didn't recollect learning it through overhearing on a telephone call, or running through a conversation with you. Is there any reason you think that they would not remember the phone call? Did they all overhear the phone call?
Yeah, I think it was just Alex and Tanner was in there too, but Andrew was, and I think he was playing,
Anything else happened over that weekend of any interest?
I went to talk to Mom about, you know, I approached Danny's mom on the 21st. See about talking to her about, you know, what we said, because, you know, we didn't want the boys to know about it, and found out about it.
Okay, there's a fight about that. Was that on the 21st or the 22nd?
That was the 22nd. The 21st is when I approached Danny's mom at church. As you say. To see if I could approach it because they're jerks to me for the longest time. So, as far as whatever counseling, where's all this counseling stuff coming from that you hear?
We've interviewed everyone who can possibly imagine who had any contact with your kids during this entire month to see if anyone can verify just some of the information. You know, we're just trying to confirm, you know, the people who have called. So one of those conversations led to that.
And the 22nd, I was supposed to spend the night over at Tammy's house. Is that true? I don't know, she might tell you something different. But that's what was supposed to have happened.
Okay. Did you, well, then you have to fight, didn't say over that?
Yeah, because Andrew told her about her fence 12 years ago. And then we talked about, I was trying to use their advices. So,
All right. And then when's the next time you talked to Tanya or the kids?
what's that?
On the 24th?
Yeah, because I was supposed to have them in the morning all day. But because Tanya got upset with me on the 22nd, she informed me on the 23rd that she would change her mind and she was not giving me the boys. I could pick them up from her mom's house at 3 o'clock as if they were at school.
So you talked to her on the 23rd. Okay, that's when you found out you weren't getting in until later.
Yeah, she told me, yeah, well, she had that night. I don't know if she texted me or if it was a phone conversation.
When did your water get turned off that week?
I don't know, DHS would know that better. I don't
Who was
know.
that?
DHS is the one who paid for it. I was going through all of it, I was trying to get some assistance, because
I think you had a meeting on Tuesday, the 23rd, does that make sense? For the, first position? But I don't know how that relates to whether you had your water on or off.
it was getting shut off that day.
Okay.
The day that I had my interview at DHS, the water was subject to turn off at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Did the water get shut off?
It got shut off, it got paid sometime that day, and they came right back and turned it off, so there was no break-in service.
So it wasn't turned off?
Well, it was like, yeah, there was a few hours of break, but that was it. Oh, that was it.
Did you have to go to the neighbor's neighbor's house to get some jugs of water?
And he did,
But just on that day,
yes,
it wasn't on Thanksgiving.
because I didn't know that the water had been turned back on that morning or that, before I went to my unit.
Right.
I know there was a time on that day, I turned on my spigot and the water wouldn't come up. So I figured,
I just thought it was a different day, I'm just clarifying.
I don't know.
So you pick up the kids at 3 p.m. on the 24th.
Yeah, it's just one change, little thing she does.
Did you have a Facebook chat with somebody that morning?
Hey, Rasmus, how are you doing? Well, good. Thanks for joining. So, just to recap for you, we're on day 2. We the morning session, and now we're on. They had lunch, and they're on a recess. It'll start up soon enough. I don't want to fast forward through the police interview. I think it's important and fun, good information for people in a true crime perspective. So I want to leave that running, and then the court case will kick in after that. Okay. A lot of good testimony today. To this afternoon, we're looking at forensics evidence, dun, 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 which is always exciting. So Raz, thank you so much. If you can't sit and watch, at least have it playing. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. And now we'll continue with the police interview or investigation. Dun, 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 dun.
Or you said you were gonna kill yourself on Wednesday morning?
I talked about
You were talking about it then?
it, Tanya's destroying my life. She playing me for whatever. Playing with my emotions, giving me stuff and then taking it away. Using kids against me just like she did on the Wednesday. I was giving up.
What did you do with the kids when you picked them up?
Went back home.
Friend of the show, watch TV, play video games.
Yeah.
And then get ready to eat.
Yeah, we always had fun.
Right, how was Thanksgiving then? What time did the kids go to bed normally?
Well, they didn't have any school this time. Normally, when they have school and stuff, 8 o'clock. They are in bed by 8:05.
But on the 24th, because there was no school.
Yeah, there was no school and stuff. Which day we were on, the 24th?
24th.
Okay.
The night you picked them up.
Like 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. I don't know. And that might have been one of them days where we, sometimes they would stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Where did they sleep?
And they have their bedroom.
So, I haven't been to your house, so, describe to me sort of, their bunk beds, that they sleep all in one bed, or they.
Yeah, you destroyed those. They used to be bunk beds. Now, there was, this is the room.
So they shared a room?
Yeah. There was a, bed here, and then it had a, air mattress here, because Tanya took the bed.
So that's like a queen size or a full size or something?
Yeah, I could fit, all 3 of them could fit on this bed. And then there was
It's like a twin bed.
this
So
bed here.
which bed?
They swim,
Okay,
so,
they swim?
yeah. They start right in this one, and they could be over here, halfway climbing the wall, we were like, sometimes they look like pretzels, they're all like little worms, so.
So when they generally go to bed, does somebody get the twin bed, or is that not somebody's?
Usually they all 3 of them right here, this way, it's been like that. And we said there was 3 of them.
Generally 3 big beds?
Yeah, and then, there would be some, I'd put one of them in here, and then, they gravitate over to, all 3 up there. We had another bedroom over here that, nobody wanted to sleep there.
Are they heavy sleepers, light sleepers,
And,
all three?
yeah.
They usually get up about the same time, 12 through, start messing around and getting up?
No, I think Andrew gets up. For the most part, he would get up a little bit earlier.
You would wake the others up and just wander around?
Yeah, he'd get up, well, he'd hear me or whatever, and then he'd get up and follow me down.
So what happened on Thanksgiving? Everybody got up?
Katie pulled another one of her stuff, like she did on Tuesday. She's threatened to not let me have the kids.
She said she wanted the kids back.
You know, well, she didn't say she wanted the kids back. What she said was, I got a piece of paper from the courts that says you're not supposed to have them on Thursdays. I want to know if you guys have Thanksgiving, because if not, I'm taking the kids with me to my sister's. And for the last month, I've had the kids every other Thursday. On the weekends that Tanya has them, I get them Thursday overnight.
And you guys have a fight about who's getting the kids?
And I told her, I said, yes, we have Thanksgiving.
Okay. Did you talk to anybody that day?
I didn't look Richard.
Alright. Did you talk to the kids, like, did he come over, did you guys have Thanksgiving?
No, I asked him what he was doing Thanksgiving. He said nothing because I had to work, so. We were gonna go with my Aunt Lisa's. But they were gonna do something else, or Aunt Lisa was doing something else, but Tim was gonna be there with his family. We're real close to them, so. I made Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I made Thanksgiving dinner right there at my house.
And you talked to your mom on the phone that day?
I don't remember.
Kids played outside, kind of regular day. You and Tanya got warm fight through the day.
Well, yeah, but, it's the same, that's the crap that she was doing. She used these kids against, she'd take these kids and use her authority, her.
Sorry, guys, Zoom timed out.
Yeah. Oh, no problem.
You approach her.
You are in the meeting now.
Sorry, Alex, I lost the connection. I'm gonna try to.
had more people at it. What did you do?
Oh, that's just, because that's,
So you picked up the kids at 3.
all right, let's have a time. Okay. I don't like that.
That's the end of that one, right? That's the end of that.
Do we need a little technical assistance?
To get the video right. Your Honor, I've watched. Just kind of run the bathroom real quick. I don't want to hold anything up, but I'll be real brief. You know.
Take all the time you need.
Thanks.
My assistants, they have a glitch. And you're the best glitch fixer. Hey. Oh,
You just needed my presence.
all you have to do is threaten. Oh, now you screwed it all up.
Did this appear again?
All right, hold on, let me try one more time.
I don't read my text.
when you asked him the question about it, the way you're questioning, he says it sounds like you're accusing him of lying or something.
We're just trying to.
The biggest thing about everything, whoa,
And I told him you're not, okay, he just remembers stuff and it's getting down towards the end. I told him just to tell you what happened on the 24th and 25th. This is the way you put it, well, now we're gonna say this, he sounds accusatory. And I told him, don't panic about that kind of stuff.
No, we're just trying to make sure that we have everything right. So what we took out was the fact that it's a regular evening. And now we're gonna talk about what happened after you picked up the kid.
Start on the 24th.
you know, I don't,
Well, for
I
example,
don't understand what, you know, I mean, it is rare even, but we have fun. We do all kinds of things all the time.
well, for example, did you know they were coming? And if so, how?
I'm talking about 24th.
24th, yeah. When you picked up the kids and there were visitors at home,
Yeah.
did you call them or set it up?
No, we said it on the 19th here, but I always do feel,
At one at the
yeah,
next.
you know, it was, from this initial interview, it was always gonna try to be with the boys. It was always gonna be with the boys. So I knew it was either gonna be always on Wednesday or on this weekend. You know, that's how it's been. Well, I forgot about all this because I forgot, we're getting close to the night.
Yeah.
You know, we're all of a sudden, they're supposed to be back here.
Okay, but we're skipping ahead, we're trying to get in order.
So what you're saying is on this date is one.
They said we'll come back Wednesday.
Okay,
We'll
that's.
come back Wednesday.
So Wednesday at 3 o'clock, you go to pick up the kids. When did the gang come over and who was there?
Yeah, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 4, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
We had, a late dinner because they were there, they didn't want to eat.
And who's they? Joanne Virgil or Joanne Virgil?
From
From the time we met him at the truck stop, so every one of these was always all 4 of them. Or was it
all the visits at my house, except for the first initial one, was all 4.
Okay.
All 4 people. Because they were, the boys got interviewed by.
All right, but we're back down again, we're on the 24th right now. So 4 or 5 o'clock, they show up, everybody's there, you eat, they don't eat.
Yeah, well, so where we didn't eat. We had a late thing, but it was, that's beside the point.
Okay, so the kids go to bed.
The point is that during this, boys wanted the kids to spend the night, they did.
So it's not all 4 plus children,
Yeah, well, yeah.
so it's 6. Right? I'm just trying to get the numbers right so we know what's going on. Okay, so now we're gonna go over the going to bed thing again because we have more kids to deal with. So when 5 kids went to bed, where did everybody go to sleep?
They all went upstairs, bed,
Okay?
they're all there.
And the adults stayed too? So the adults left the kids with you? Okay. So where did they go? Why did they leave?
Probably because they didn't spend the night with me. I think they were Sue and Elijah.
Sue and Elijah are a couple?
Or they just had kids together. You're asking me to speculate. I don't know. I just.
So these kids,
I just know they had kids.
so the first time the kids came over was when? The 19th, right? So whose kids were they? Sue and Elijah or Joanne?
Pretty sure they were students. Pretty sure they were students.
How old were they and what were they?
They were 6 and 7 years old.
anything?
Very, yeah.
Now. It was 6 and 7. Who was 6
6
and
or
4?
7, 6 or, I don't know, they were twins, they're supposed to be twins.
Okay. Because you told the FBI earlier that those were Joanne's kids. Joanne and her husband.
I have no idea if Joanne was married. So, why would I tell,
I don't know, you described her husband.
oh, that's the backstory that we did, yeah, you go campaign law, you'll see that backstory that we created. Talk about,
But when you told the FBI that Joanne had a husband, that was, and that they had twins named Mary and Alan. What was that all about?
that's what we call it, that's what we did.
Okay, well, when you told the FBI that it was Joanne Taylor's kids with her husband. Well, I'm just trying to figure out which one is the best story, which one is the correct.
I don't know. Okay, now, I don't know, because we created this story, because Tammy knew that I got someone like that on the road helping.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
It was to break the ice.
I get the backstory, what I'm asking is, when you told the FBI that Joanne Taylor had a husband who you met and that they had these 2 kids who went to your house, you weren't telling them the backstory, you were telling them about Joanne Taylor who had kids. So that's not correct. You don't know.
I mean, that's what I'm telling you now, that's what I just told you,
Okay, so this is the correct
you know,
story.
so, I mean, that's what I, you know, and I did.
Can you describe Joanne?
Yes, 5'5", 5'6", something like that. Oldest kind of looking.
He's what? Oldest?
Yeah.
Like me or old, like old?
No, you don't look too old.
So, okay, old is relative, how old would you get?
In your 40s.
Old like me?
Well, I was 44 years old, so.
What's King?
But she looked older.
Okay. An old 40.
She looked like, you don't have to wrinkles that, you know, some other people.
King of Big Hat.
So, I'm trying to get at.
She white? Is everybody here white?
Yeah, she was white.
Oh, I just do.
Let's just put it this way, her hair looked younger than her face did.
Does she have your hair?
So, I mean, that's just what it looked like. If people ask, well, she had gray hair, no, I didn't see no gray hair. You know, it just,
What color is her hair?
like dark brown. Computers will have highlights.
So the paper. Fat.
I didn't want to. Pretty safe. No, she wasn't bad. Say about 130, you say, oh, that's for old, that's bad.
That's all your opinion on.
You know, I don't know what's bad. She looks like 130 pounds, 140 pounds, something like that.
What I'm getting out of that one is that you described her earlier to the FBI as being fat, 200 pounds plus. So, you know, if we're out looking for a person whose name is not really Joanne Taylor, we don't really know what she looks like.
No. She was 130, 140 pounds.
Who's dressed?
Did you ever communicate with her by email? Because your mom gave me the email address that you
you have it?
Yes,
Email?
Joanne_Taylor.
Yeah.
Because she told a couple of different people, they communicated with her solely by email.
And this,
So never by email, never by your cell phone.
You said there was a reason for that, what was the reason?
on the first, December 1st or whatever, when my parents would get here. They were gonna meet my parents and stuff. But, that was for, if we decided to do it, I would send a message.
To that email?
So that was supposed to be a valid email?
Supposed to be.
But that email has only ever been accessed at your house. Created at your house,
I did not.
used at your house, never accessed from any other place ever.
That's, yeah, because I never.
You never communicated with her, right?
No, I never decided to go through with, any of this, because I would wait and talk to my mom and dad, let them meet my mom and dad. And
So who set up the email?
I did, one of these visits. So one of our visits, we opened a cafe bomb on my email address. I don't know my email address.
I understand sort of what the problem is, just from an investigative point of view, is that all roads lead back to your laptop. I'm trying to make these people real, and every time we come up with an email or a telephone or a contact, it all comes back to ashes in the glove box or.
I kind of told you about this. You got a person, okay? You got email, you got phone, you got a contact, right? You got me with a laptop, cafe mom, and right? Everything done from here was done over here, right?
That makes sense.
That should
Okay. Okay, we're all lost. Pretend like we're kids.
All right. We set up Cafe Mom,
Right,
right? Joanne sets up Cafe Mom at my house,
yeah, we're on B, yeah,
at my house, at my house,
right,
my laptop,
right.
right?
Okay.
Right. And my phone has her email address that we did later,
Right,
but during that Cafe Mom, we used my email address
Apple land, right,
to,
activate the account.
yeah,
Yeah,
take it just because
right,
I didn't change it up.
Right.
And then when they came back, we made Yahoo account
right,
on my computer.
right.
Okay. So now when things get, all of this stuff goes haywire on the 26th. Where do all the roads go? Exactly like you said, right here.
Right.
Okay. What happens to A?
But what's the point of having a cafe mom account at your house?
Cafe Mom was, be for 10. Because they just couldn't go over to Tandy's house and say, hey, we're thinking about, having your kids go into our foster program because, we'll let them, we want to talk to you about it.
Let's keep going through the timeline so we can get through the end of that.
You know? But while you guys are focused on me,
No, we're trying to do is find
then
points that can.
they can
corroborated.
Yeah.
No, we're trying to get to that, because we're trying to find points that can be corroborated, we're trying to find people that saw you, or places where you could have been seen, so. Let's see, now we're on Thanksgiving, you made Thanksgiving dinner, what happens then? They're still there, you wake up, you have 6 kids in your house, what do you do? Five. Yeah. Got me 3 and 2, that was not a trick. Okay, so you wake up, you have 5 kids at your house.
Do breakfast, go pancakes.
Okay.
They come back. Fertile. They come back.
What time?
I was in the morning, 9, 2 o'clock, something like that. The kids, they left, they said they never gonna come back.
What did they do? Come back for?
Just come back. I don't know.
You think they're coming back just for a visit?
Yeah.
Okay.
They give us time during Thanksgiving for family time.
And did you do another track phone at this point? You still got your old one from the 19th?
No, I gave them my phone back on that day.
On Thanksgiving morning?
On the night.
Okay, so we're not there yet. We're in the morning. So in the morning, you still got it on.
Yes, I got my.
All right. So we got it on. What do you do? Hang out, you have food.
You know, we got all the days, yeah, they took them, they. Or you just, I don't know, they did dinner, they came back.
The kids go outside, and here's something that we can confirm. Your kids go outside and they play on the roof of their playhouse, and they were seen by 3 different neighbors.
Yeah.
This is something good. However, they didn't see any of the other kids. They only saw your, the day before and the day after. Not 3 neighbors.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, they were. What if that's what happened, what if that's, somewhere one of these days, Shane's record work.
Well, no, drop it, change the breath. In the meantime, we're on Thanksgiving, so your kids are outside, they're seen by the neighbors see your van in the driveway all day, they don't see any other car come or go. Continuation of flights to Tanya, then what happens?
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not trying to minimize the fights with Tanya, we want to get into that and discuss all of that in great detail, but we want to do that second. First thing we want to do is figure out the timeline for the kids, how to contact them, if you have any means of contacting them, that kind of thing. So I'm not trying to intentionally gloss over what happened with Tanya, but we need to just focus on the timeline of the kids.
Yeah.
So,
I understand.
3 p.m., they're outside, they're seen by everyone in the neighborhood playing.
I don't know I can't remember what time they sued on it. Came back, but.
What time did you have dinner? What football game was on?
I don't know, I don't watch football. I don't have TV.
You don't have TV?
I'm not American. No, we did. Good bit, that was okay. I guess, we would watch movies. We were watching,
Figure out what time it was.
exactly.
So, it was dark or light when they came over? Kids were outside at 3,
It was dark.
around about getting dark, so after dark.
After 6.
Who comes over? The whole gang again?
4 dollars.
Okay. Describe everything in minute detail from the moment they arrive at the door. Who's talking?
Sue talked a lot to the kids. That's what the kids voiced, they
where are their kids if both parents come to visit you? I guess that'd be a logical question. All right, so 4 adults show up. They talk to your kids.
Babysitter. You want an answer, a babysitter.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no, that's a good answer.
You know, I do not, I don't know.
Oh, that's a good answer.
All right,
Let's just talking to the kids. Anybody talk to you?
Well, we just talking.
okay. So you put the kids to bed?
No. And they, that the boys, I could say, was boys that they wanted to spend the night with Alex and Bert. So, Sue said it was okay, but it was okay with me. Tit for tat.
Okay, so the kids are in their pajamas.
Oh, they got coats, new coats too. That day, that night, Sue brought them brand new coats. Black. I don't think they don't know what.
How about shoes?
Black college coats.
How about shoes?
I don't think they probably shoes.
Do they wear shoes? All their shoes are in the house. They have no shoes.
No, they were in there. I did get them ready for them to get their pajamas. And sent them with, blankets.
Toothbrushes?
No.
Medicine? They take asthma medicine every day. So they didn't take their asthma medication?
They took it before they left.
But they need it in the morning too. So they didn't
No,
take it.
yes. They always had to take one day, once a day.
And they were taking it at night when they were with you?
And, always taking it. We always took it at night.
And they're, the nebulizer?
We did need it. We did use it.
Okay, so they, for their overnight stay, they choose no toothbrush, no asthma medicine?
They had it all over my house. It was all there.
Right.
I don't understand what you did that.
So when they went to stay overnight with Sue,
Yeah.
they didn't bring any of this stuff with them?
No.
That's all I was getting at. Okay, so what time are they supposed to come back?
They were supposed to be back at 3 o'clock. Dropped off the kids.
In their pajamas? With no shoes?
Do they know we're taking one?
They had clothes for everything.
So when they, took the kids away, did you know that they were taking them for good? What time did, you know, when? So they just said they were gonna take them.
You gotta understand, these people were, you know, trying to see if they were gonna fit into this life. If we so chose. So, that's the coats. They enjoyed it. No, we didn't,
Car seats.
they were like, did
The kids were in your van?
you just say, kind of car seats, the kids?
No car seats. Did
The car seats were in my van.
Okay, so your van stayed at your house, right?
Yes.
So,
They had car seats.
what time did they leave?
Between 10 and 11 at night. I'd say more close to 10.
1, 2, 3, at least 3 neighbors saw your car in your driveway between 10 and 11:30 at night, but didn't see anybody else's car. Were they
and Jones, they were at my house.
So they were awake?
Who?
You did, when you put them in the car?
Yeah, you can hope.
The little one, what kind of car seat is he going?
Just goes to,
Regular booster?
well, that's just very old little booster. And it had, and had been in one for quite a while, at least a year, I think.
So when they left on that night, they were alive, fine, they were giving you hugs, they were okay, when they left with these people, right?
You said they were in car seats. Did you see car seats in the van, or did they tell you there was car seats?
No, it was car seat.
You went out and saw the van?
Yes, I put it in the van.
Okay, the van is in your driveway?
Huh?
And the van is in your driveway? And you put it in the van?
Yeah.
Not out on the street, that's where else, it's in your driveway.
Yes.
Did you get a phone from them that night?
No, I turned my phone in to them that night.
So for the first time, you have no way of contacting them while they take your kids? Because every other time they gave you a phone.
I would get, no, that's not, I would get different phones. They would give me different phones. At times. I give them my phone. I was getting my phone on Wednesday, December 1st.
Well, one of the police officers that you got a track phone on Thursday night from the organization when they took the kids. And that you can contact the organization through code, but only after you approve the custody. Is that true?
At times. And I didn't get a phone from them here.
Wait, let me break it down then, just a little snippet. Did you get a track phone Thursday night from the organization when they took the kids?
No, I get one back in the,
Can you contact the organization through code?
yes,
How do you do that?
the, papers.
Where did you go after you dropped the kids off? Or the kids in the van?
As far as I know, I stayed home. The FBI says I left somewhere. I don't remember leaving anywhere.
How about when you ended up dropping off the kids' stuff at, Lisa's?
I was watching on Friday.
Right.
Yes, I remember that, but I do not remember going anywhere 5:30, 20 miles southwest of my house.
Just don't remember.
I don't, from when they left,
We can appreciate from our standpoint that it is concerning to us that you give your kids to people that you don't know, that you don't have a telephone number for, that you haven't done any research into, that you don't know how to contact. We know that you went somewhere, but you don't remember where.
and I thought I did know. Because I talked to them, you
You
know.
don't know their real names. You're not confident that the one person you know her last name, that that's actually her name. You didn't do any Google searches on that organization.
Do you look to see who's got the best heroin product on the internet?
But I don't buy heroin. I spend a lot of time looking up where to put my dog
That's
for the weekend.
that's,
I spend time researching what hotels I'm gonna stay in.
you know, yeah, but that's all legal. You know, this was just an option because the system failed me, that's it.
Did you contact any references, anybody else that had ever used them? Do you know anyone
No,
else who ever?
because you know, this wasn't going to be, hey, this is the day it's gonna happen.
Do you know anyone else who's ever done this kind of thing? Successfully or unsuccessfully?
Another person, Eve,
Yeah, I talked to you about that today,
yeah.
but you said that you didn't talk to Eve.
No, know she was doing something, but I didn't know the details of
It
it.
wasn't the same group, or you get any information.
Definitely, I know it wasn't, and it had been the same group, but at least I don't think so.
But what assurances did you get from them that your kids would be okay? Or that your kids would get their medication?
Because they wouldn't need it till they got home again.
Oh, the shoes. And the toothbrush.
It was the other kid, because,
How much is toothbrush?
yeah, but I wasn't gonna have them for all of this time. For all this time, I wasn't gonna have them until here.
Right, but weren't you worried about,
And not brushing your teeth in the
well,
morning?
and just when they
No,
don't know what
I
they're
wasn't.
saying, that these people that she doesn't know, don't think her legs would touch a golf ball. Who are these people? She put the place down, or?
That's why Cafe Mom was, is still trying to get contact with Tanya and
Right, but I'm saying you,
talking to Tanya.
you're telling us that they were gonna drop the kids off at times, right, so they must have known where she lived.
You came past my house.
Right, yeah, I'm aware of that, but then now they're being seen by Tanya. Wasn't that a concern in there? And now they're covering some of them?
I don't know, I don't think so. I don't know. I got it, you know, and it's a trust issue. You know. But that's where, and their toothbrushes, their medication, I don't even know why. Nebulizer was only if they needed it, as needed. During this time, they didn't need it. I didn't even have it up to 19.
So the last time you saw your kids or this group was 11 o'clock-ish on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, 10, about 10 to 10 to 11.
Sent the email from your house using the Cafe Mom account Friday
Friday morning. It was written.
at 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday. 2 o'clock.
There was, I know there was one that I understand.
It was written at 1:46 in the morning at your house.
What is it? I see it, or what?
It's the Cafe Mom email that you sent from Joanne to Tanya. 7:40 in the morning, 7:02, it was sent. In between those two times was when your car was out driving around.
I know that was written before. And I had sent it, and I was supposed to send it at 7 o'clock.
What was the email say?
I don't know what it said.
Check the packet right now. It was a very long email about what a terrible mother Tanya is and about how, she's never gonna see the kids again and you'll never have them to hold her again. Yeah, if you sent it, you probably should have read it first.
I remember that.
Well, you sent it at 7 in the morning, before you're out.
Because I remember Tanya saying something about a few days. And I said, no, you guys meet a few hours. Tanya, I don't know if it was an email or phone conversation, or a text message or a phone conversation, but she asked me where she needed to pick up the kids. Galloway at Center Shelter said, it's gonna be, that she's gonna take the kids for a few days. And I told him, it doesn't be a few hours, about a few days, but a few hours.
Well, in order for you to communicate through the media or newspapers, what does that mean?
What did they tell you about contacting them?
I wanted to get a message directly to, like, the boys. It's just just put the word Saranac before I want to say something. If I need word what? Saranac.
Like cardiac magnetism?
Oh, Sarah.
Saranac.
Saranac, city of Michigan.
Saranac or Saranac?
I've heard of Saranac. What's
Sarah,
Saranac?
S-A-R-A-N-C. It's west of Iowa.
So if
You put that before what?
For what I want to tell boys. If I wanted to send a message to, you know, about, Traverse City, everything was Traverse City. Instead of Saranac, Traverse City.
And instead of,
yeah, what? Like I said, pretend like we're kids. So if you say
I
Saranac,
hadn't understood it all either, because like I said, everything wasn't all in. I would say, I was supposed to say Traverse City. I had a message for Traverse City. You know what Traverse City is?
yeah, and that would, you would say Traverse City for what reason?
and then what would happen?
That was just, if somebody out there was listening, then they would know that message would be for them to do something.
So from jail, you'd have to have a press conference at which you would say Traverse City.
I would say Traverse City,
But if they take your kids, they know that you're gonna get in trouble. How could you possibly have a press conference? They don't have access to the press.
my parents do,
Why haven't your parents been throwing this on every TV camera yelling Traverse City?
because they didn't know anything about this. And even if, you know, I still don't even know if it would even work for them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, I told my lawyer that I wanted to talk to the press, or, you know, just send out a message. But,
Do they tell you anything else you're supposed to say?
you know, no. Everything was, child books, stories, you know, I told him something about some of it, you know, it was all incomplete me as well, you know.
So at this point, you don't really know what any of the codes are against this fact.
I just know what I can say, you know,
So if you say Saranac, what happens?
that would just be for the kids. So it is, that's just get a message to the kids that,
So if you say Saranac, come back, what happens?
that just a message, say, to the kids, you know, if I wanted to talk, I'd say, hey, Sarah, I love you, or something like that would be for the boys, and that would be passed on to the boys. Traverse City,
Do you have any way of getting them back at this point?
I don't even know where they are. You know,
Tell them about the boys' books, kids' books.
yeah, that's what I was trying to tell the Goldilocks is the bad people. Or the bad people, you know, the opposite of, you know, what they were, the authorities would be Goldilocks. If I told them Goldilocks is lurking, that means you guys are listening to my phone conversations. That means you guys are putting me up to doing something. You tell them Goldilocks is away, just be,
your dad, Eddie, to get the kids back?
Right? Because everything's wired and stuff like that. He said, let's do this now. Talk to people. So,
His dad did tell me that, too. He said,
I think your dad's real smart.
his dad told me today that he was telling him stuff over the phone, and he said, no, everybody's listening to that, and he said he did encourage him to talk with you guys and tell you guys these things. He did tell me earlier this morning, when he talked to him, he stopped him from saying too much over the phone.
my biggest concern,
Tell him the rest of the things that it's sure happened, find out. You said something about mom has baby bears or something.
yeah, you know, that's how I get to tell that, that I don't have, custody, you know, mama bears got, baby bears exclusively.
What was the thing that you were supposed to say if they were gonna bring them back?
Well, if they were taking the kids to protect them from mom, why would they bring them back?
If we bring it back, you had that Tanya, either incarcerated or the kids are,
But like I said, that's general practice, they're always protected like that, especially now that we're all involved. I mean,
This is
now, they will. What happened before was,
I understand that, but why don't they bring them back now that they know?
what are you supposed to say if they're gonna contact your parents to bring the kids back?
they're going to magic meetings.
That's what he told me.
I didn't even want to know why.
It's about jacking the beats up. What was it supposed to be?
Well, why would you need all these codes for returning and communicating if you didn't think they were taking them?
It wasn't supposed to happen on that day. It was supposed to happen on another day.
After everything's gone.
It wasn't supposed to happen this day. He was thinking about doing, was gonna do it somewhere down the road. It wasn't supposed to happen on the,
I had you decided to do.
he was still in the. What were you supposed to say, and whether it's through the media or newspaper or whatever,
Well, I'm gonna say, because
it's not like it's a press conference. If something got out in the newspaper, you know, I think, you know, maybe, you know, I don't know if he's telling the truth. It may be a scam, these people just kidnapping the kids, maybe he's not telling the truth. But the way it explains to me, it would go through like a newspaper. It doesn't have to be a press conference where he stands up and says this stuff. But what was the thing that you're supposed to say in order to, you told me that they would contact your parents down in Florida, is that right? To try to get the kids back, if they hear these words. What was it you're supposed to say? Say it again, say it again.
Just tell them Jack Brady to be told, or something to that reference. There was no exact words, all he said was, having magic beads come with hope.
That's what he told me almost over a week ago. And if you say that, then you're supposed to get in touch with your parents out in Florida, is that what you told me?
Just awful.
Huh?
Yes.
And then he told me that's the address that your parents had for 30 years.
So at this point, you know, I'm very concerned about the organization should exist, because, you know, they've kidnapped the kids, they've taken them against your will, against Tanya's will, and kept them, and now returned them. I mean, there's a ton of different ways that you can return kids. Drop them off at a fire station, drop them off at a police station, you leave them at a mall, a hospital. You know, the organization is not following through on anything else. I have no reason to think that this would probably work. What I'd like to get is any kind of information, if you have any, that can corroborate any of this. Do you know anybody else who's used this? Anyone else who's seen this? Were you at any place that would be recorded? Any phone numbers?
That's why the only thing that I know is they made, they got a video at the shop.
So long ago, you know, we're gonna take a peek.
dad's coming in by, tell you what, they, winter haven, Florida, sunshine state, Florida.
Okay, but what does that mean? Calling about Florida?
True. Yeah. What does it mean?
Do you know what I mean?
That's how to get voice back.
I thought it was Jack bring the magic bean.
Yes, but that's a location.
So
That's a location.
you say Jack bring the magic beans home.
That's, yeah, that would get them in contact
With your parents,
with.
right?
She said that. After all the media, things died down, but there's less pressure and stuff.
But my question is, if you send that, how do we know that that's not telling the organization to kill them or harm them or dispose of them? Do you know that? I mean, that's all we worry about.
Because, they'll hibernate till they graduate, and nobody see it.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Okay.
There's also,
You have to get a message to them, well, within 7 years, we can't get them back. And then,
yeah, remember I told you that originally I got a piece of paper, a whole bunch of papers, and at the bill at 12 months, first month. This was, the rules, that was their rules.
explain the rules to them, Marty explained to me, explain it to them.
As long as Tanya had custody, or if she was the potential to get the kids, there was gonna be no contact with me, no contact with her, no contact with my parents, nothing. Total blackout.
They must know at this point if that's done.
And it goes along with that message that I wrote.
Why didn't you share this message on Friday then? Like the day that they didn't get returned?
I was in the hospital.
Right.
Kind of moved.
Okay, now we have a small one, a short one.
No, that was the audio one. We're all done and playing this today.
The audio was like the 3-minute one, Judge, which just had audio. There was video, but I stipulated to pass it because I couldn't get it. But we heard them
Are
all.
we doing that audio?
We did already. It was the middle one.
Oh,
It's a real short one.
It was only 1 minute long.
okay. I just thought you didn't have audio. We are at 20 minutes to 5. Is there a short witness?
No, we're done for today.
All right. All right, we will see you back here tomorrow morning at 10:30. We could do a little earlier in the day if the two of you are not involved on the third floor.
We are not involved in the third floor, but we
We
are,
have to get witnesses here. We've got our subpoenas out for 10:30. We can very well try, but I can't guarantee we can have anybody here. And how early are you talking?
Well, I would think we could start around 10-ish. This media can be here a little bit early. We don't need to make life miserable for anyone, but I want to give everybody as much time to set up as we can. We have arraignments tomorrow. And we have something in the afternoon that I think got put on our schedule from error at 1 o'clock. All right, see you tomorrow morning around 10.
Thank
Oh, yeah. I got a couple Zooms different counties. I told them if this goes early, I'm gonna get somebody to come to pre-trials. They want to see our age. Just want to be clear.
Yes, please. Do you want to share that out there?
Hey there. So yeah, it was a waste of time. I don't know. The police investigation of him in 2011 was fine, but they didn't even realize they were broadcasting the video. They thought it was just audio. So the tech team really needs to research what they're doing. Plus, it took forever. And what an afternoon, right? It was a I was just it was very difficult to sit through that. So I apologize, but it's all part of the case. So we got done with that. That means we'll start tomorrow, um, probably the same time for me, approximately. So I'll schedule it because I'm in Arizona, so I'm 3 hours behind. And we will continue with day 3, part 1, and we will see what comes in, whether it be additional witnesses, the forensics, which I thought would be happening today, may come in tomorrow. And obviously, additional witnesses will be on the stand. So, with all that said, I want to thank you all for attending. Once again, I appreciate your support. And if you know of anybody who hasn't subscribed to my channel, please let them know. It would be nice. It's free and it helps. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Oh, I should have made myself bigger. Huh. Okay, take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye now. See you on the next one.